Hi everyone, it's Miss Rossi. Today we're going to create a drawing of a patterned umbrella. What you'll be needing today is your umbrella paper from your art folder. You don't need the label, so you can get rid of that. We're also going to need a pencil, an eraser, something to trace our drawing with. We want something permanent today, so I'm using a Sharpie, but you can use any kind of permanent marker, pen, colored pencil, or crayon. I'm also going to use some crayons and some watercolor paints to add color to my picture today, but you can use anything you have at home. I am going to do a crayon and watercolor resist on my paper today, but if you do not have crayons and watercolors at home, you can use anything else. So today we're going to draw someone holding an umbrella in the rain, and since it is spring, it's starting to get rainy outside, and the warmer weather is coming, which is really nice. And we are going to fill our umbrella picture with all different kinds of patterns that we know how to draw to create texture. So we know that we can create patterns using repeating lines and shapes, and we can use different kinds of patterns and designs to show different textures existing on our paper. So with our pencil, we are going to start by drawing our umbrella at the center of our page. Now I'm going to start by drawing a nice big circle, nice and lightly with my pencil. And this is going to guide us in creating our umbrella shape. So I have a nice big circle there as the base. At the center, I'm going to put a little dot to mark that center point of my umbrella, and I am going to draw some straight lines going out from that center point to the edge. And this is just going to split my umbrella into some different sections for when we add our patterns later on. There we go. Now you can decide if you want to keep your umbrella a perfect circle. I think I am going to draw some curved lines going from each point where they are kind of curving in and back out to those lines that I just drew. And that's going to give my umbrella a more interesting shape so that it's not just a perfect circle on my paper. And once I like the way that that looks, I can take my eraser and erase that original circle we drew, because that was just our guide, but we do not need it once we drew the other shape with those curved lines that I just made. And there's my umbrella shape. Now I'm going to add myself into my picture. So I'm going to draw two straight lines coming down. That's going to be my raincoat. And I can connect those across the bottom. I'm going to draw two more straight lines that are smaller coming down from the center of that and connect them. And those are going to be my pants, so I can split that in half with another straight line. And then I'm going to add some boots. So again, I'm going to do two straight lines coming out. I can continue that center line down as well. And I am just going to come out and around and meet back at the center on both sides to make some rain boots. Now I can decorate the rest of my picture. So I do want some clouds in the sky. So up at the top of my paper, I'm going to draw some bouncy and wavy lines for my clouds. And then I can add some raindrop shapes coming down from the sky. I think I even want a nice big puddle that I'm standing in, so I'm going to do a wavy line around where my feet are. There we go. Now that my picture is mostly complete, the only thing I have left to do is add some patterns and designs inside my umbrella. So inside each of these sections that we created, I want to draw a different pattern or design. So I'm going to think about all different kinds of lines and shapes I know how to draw and start to repeat those lines and shapes inside my sections to create my patterns. So inside this one, I'm doing some bouncy lines that kind of remind me of scales. Maybe down here I will do some straight lines. You can draw just repeating lines, or you can create patterns using lines and shapes, or you can create patterns using just shapes. It's up to you. So maybe in here I want some circles. I just want to make sure I fill in that whole section with my pattern and design. Maybe here I want some lines and shapes, so I can draw some lines and then some shapes in between. Now you can draw whatever you would like to create your patterns and designs. Yours does not have to look like mine. You just want to make sure you fill in all of your sections of your umbrella with different designs. finish drawing my picture with my pencil, I'm going to grab my Sharpie and I'm going to trace over all of my pencil lines. Now, if you want to trace over your patterns and designs that are inside your umbrella with different colored crayons, you can do that if you want your designs to be outlined in different colors. The only thing you really have to outline in black for this, I would say, would be the outline of your umbrella and then these lines that kind of separate it into different sections. I would definitely outline those in black so they're easier to see. And then if you want to do your patterns in different colors, go ahead and do that. I'm going to outline all of my pencil lines with my black Sharpie for now. And I'm going to go in later with my crayons and watercolors to fill everything else in. The only thing I'm not going to outline with my Sharpie is my rain and my big puddle at the bottom, because I want those to be outlined with some blue crayon so it can resist my watercolor later on. Now that I traced all of that with my Sharpie, I'm just going to go in with my eraser and erase any of those pencil lines I can still see that are inside my body and inside my umbrella. I'm going to pick a nice blue crayon to use to outline my raindrops and my big puddle of rain down at the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to use my crayons to fill in my umbrella as well. So I can color in each section of my umbrella with my crayons, and they will resist my watercolor paints once I start to fill in the background. When you're coloring with your crayons, you want to make sure that you color in that space completely so there is no white space left over, and that you're trying your best to stay inside the lines. When we're coloring in our patterns and designs, we can also create even more patterns within what we already drew by using our colors to create patterns too, by repeating different colors and creating patterns that way. So here I'm creating a pattern with my two different colored pinks by repeating my dark and light pinks over and over again. So you can get really crazy with your designs and your patterns with how you color them in. So I'm going to go in and color in my umbrella and my body, and then I'm going to use watercolor paints to fill in the rest of my picture. Alright, there we go. That is my umbrella all finished with my crayons. Now I can go in with my watercolor to fill in the rest of my picture. With my watercolor paints, I am going to fill in those raindrops, I'm going to fill in my clouds, and I'm going to paint a nice colorful background. Now, since we're using watercolor paints with our crayons are going to resist our watercolor paints, so they are going to help keep them in place. So as I am painting in this section, you can see that my color is not spreading outside beyond that area I outlined with my crayon. It is also going to prevent our colors from mixing together where we don't want them to. So I think I'm going to paint my raindrops blue, and then I'm going to do some blues, greens, and purples in the background and mix those together to make a cool colored rainy sky. But since I outlined those raindrops with my crayon, it'll help keep that blue in there and help keep the other colors from going in that space. When we're using our watercolor paints, like always, we want to make sure we are washing our paintbrush before we go into different colors. We can always mix our paints on our paper, but we do want to keep our paint palette nice and clean. And you can see as I am mixing these together on my paper and spreading my watercolor out, it is not going in the area that I colored in with my crayons, so it is staying out of my umbrella. It is staying out of those other little raindrops that I just made. So I'm going to go in and fill in all of that white space of the background with my cool colors and fill in those clouds, and then I will be all finished. Alright, there you go, and that is my pattern umbrella picture all finished. Once you're done with your project, you can take a photo or video of it and upload it on my Canvas page. I can't wait to see all the amazing patterns and designs you guys have created. Try your best, have fun, and get creative, and I'll see you soon. Bye!